Welcome to our science class. Children, we see many things around us. Some are living while others are non-living. Let us learn more about living and non-living things. What are living things? Things that have life are living things. Example, human beings, animals, plants. What are non-living things? Things that do not have life are called as non-living things. Example, house, ship, hat, etc. Let us learn some characteristics of living and non-living things. Living things can move, they can grow, they need food and water, they can breathe. Living things can reproduce. Non-living things cannot move, they cannot grow, they do not need food and water, they cannot breathe. Non-living things cannot reproduce. Now let us learn the characteristics of living things in detail. The first one is movement. Living things can move. Human beings move using their legs. Animals use their legs to move. Some animals without legs like snake crawls. Fishes swim in the water. So this was in case of animals and human beings, how they move. Now we come to plants. Though plants do not change their place, but they show movement. Plants show movement, like for example, they grow in the direction of sunlight. So in this picture we can see how plants show movement by bending towards sunlight. The second characteristic of living things is growth. Living things grow. A baby grows into a child, which then grows into a man. In case of animals, for example, the chick grows into a hen. Now we will learn about growth in plants. A seed grows into a plant, which then grows into a tree. Now in this picture we can see the life cycle of a bean. First, a seed is planted in the ground. The seed starts to grow. Then the seed becomes a big plant. A bean grows on the plant. There are seeds inside the bean. So we can see how growth takes place in plants. This picture also shows a seed growing into a plant. Now we come to the next characteristic. Living things need food and water. Human beings depend upon plants and animals for their food. The food which human beings eat comes from plants and some animals. Animals depend upon plants or other animals for their food. For example, sheep depends on plants for their food. The sheep eats grass. Cat eats fish. Snake eats mouse. So we can see that human beings depend upon plants and animals for their food, while animals depend upon plants for their food, and some animals depend on other animals for their food. Now we come to plants. Plants make their own food using water, air and sunlight. This picture shows that plants use water from the ground, carbon dioxide from the air and sunlight to make their own food with the help of chlorophyll which is present in the leaves. This process is called as photosynthesis. I have explained the process of photosynthesis in detail in my previous video. So this is how plants make their own food. So plants also need food and water. Now we come to the next characteristic. Living things can breathe. Human beings and some of the animals breathe in fresh air using their lungs. Now we can see in this picture, human beings breathe fresh air with the help of their lungs. Plants inhale carbon dioxide from the surroundings. This picture shows that plants take in carbon dioxide molecule from the air and give out oxygen. Now we come to the last characteristic of living things, that is reproduction. What is reproduction? Reproduction is the process in which a living thing gives birth to a young one of its own kind. It means that reproduction is the process in which a living thing gives birth to a baby which looks like its parent. For example, in case of human beings, a woman gives birth to a baby. In case of animals, for example, a hen lays eggs from which young ones come out and slowly grow into adults. Now let us learn reproduction in case of plants. In this picture, we can see a farmer is planting a seed. The seed is growing. Then the seed is becoming a plant. A bean is growing on the plant. And in the last step, there are seeds inside the bean. Now when these seeds are sown in the soil, it will again grow into a new plant. So we can see how reproduction takes place in case of plants. Now we come to non-living things. Man-made things like book, television, kite, bus, chair, table and many more are called as non-living things because they cannot move, they cannot grow, they do not need food and water. Non-living things cannot breathe, they cannot reproduce, and so they are called as non-living things because they do not have life. Now it is not that only man-made things, some of the natural things like sun, moon and stars are also non-living things. I hope you have understood about living and non-living things. Thank you.